Hello everybody! My name is Flik, and it's time for a bit of a special Let's Look At, because it's not an indie game, it's a mainstream type thing. It's Disgaea D2, A Brighter Darkness. And if you're at all familiar with my channel, you will know that I love the Disgaea games. I did tons of content on Disgaea 3 and Disgaea 4. Because of things being a bit different with D2, I am doing a Let's Look At just to help bring awareness to it, because although I would say that the Disgaea games are exceptionally popular, they are so amongst a cult following. That said, it's still Nippon Ichi Software's most successful series by far, but still, I know a lot of people aren't even that familiar with it, so that's why I'm doing this. So we are going to continue. I technically have 2 games in progress. I'm into the middle of episode 3, however I'm going to go back to a previous save that I kept in order to not give away too much, but at the same time show you a bit about the story and whatnot for those who may not be familiar. So if you want comparisons, Disgaea games play like Final Fantasy Tactics, Vandal Hearts, that kind of thing. It's an RPG, turn-based. You're kind of given a battlefield to move around in that might change the way you play based on geo effects, not to get into too many complicated game terms. Also, because I always start my videos on Disgaea games like this, I have to jump 3 times. You will not understand why unless you have seen my previous videos. In fact, even if you have, you probably still don't know why I do that, and I'm not going to tell you, I just do. So, Disgaea D2 is a direct sequel to the very first Disgaea game, and you play as Laharl, previously just a prince, but now a self-proclaimed overlord of a netherworld. And the general gist of the theme in this game is that although he has declared himself overlord, none of the demons he rules over seems to know he exists. And there's some kind of lingering threat that a group wishes to have a real overlord therefore. Without, trying to give away too much away. So, the menu system has changed for those who are familiar with the previous games. It takes a little getting used to, however it is far better once you are used to it. And this is my setup. You have kind of story characters. I should also point out that the first set of DLC is out, like I said in my unboxing video of the special edition, which gives you Fuka and Desko from Disgaea 4. I didn't do a separate video on it because you go to the Dark Assembly, you pay a mana cost to unlock the ability to use these characters, and unlike previous games, you can use them as soon as you get them. So you don't need to finish the story mode first, which is fantastic. What isn't so good is, I passed the bell and then they just joined. There wasn't a cutscene, there wasn't a battle, they started at level 1 rather than 100. So without going into too much detail for those who aren't familiar, it seems like they're doing DLC characters differently this time around, so it may not be apt to do videos on them because of that. But anyway, I have a whole host of named characters who are relevant to the story, characters I've created out of the base classes such as warrior or martial artist. And then I also have monsters which you can use, such as the ubiquitous Prinnies, who I haven't renamed yet because I haven't reincarnated them, without, again, trying to confuse people by going into what reincarnation is. Other new things to Disgaea D2 is a fighting dojo, or something dojo they call it in here. Demon dojo, my mistake. This is just yet another way to grind your characters, and Disgaea games are all about the grind. The max level is 9999. You can have characters eventually who deal literally billions of damage in one hit. So if you put people into these certain types of training, they get a certain stat increased every time they level up. So for example, my warrior and my dragon are in the tough guy training, so when they level up they get 10% more HP on what they would get on the level up normally, not just like 10% base, because that would be ridiculous, I think, anyway. And if I look around the dojo, I might see some of my characters being forced to endure training, like Fuka and my martial artist there are having to run on a treadmill. My poor zombie called Zomboner after Rogue Legacy is standing on some spikes. Looks like they're being impaled, but they're not. They're floating above the needles. Where else can we go? So I didn't do much this... I kind of got sidetracked by talking about things that only people who are familiar with the Disgaea games would be interested in, really. But for those who aren't, they're incredibly addictive games that you can literally get hundreds of hours out of. I've never played a Disgaea game for less than 300 hours, and that is not an exaggeration. I can prove it by showing you my save files of 3 and 4 if you wanted. I have at least 350 hours in each of those. It rewards the time you put in. You don't have to grind so much if you just want to play the story mode. The story mode, usually you get to around level 75-ish without grinding. Free study time, what is he doing? They're staring down the chalkboard, solving away. And my pumpkin? They're trying to memorize the entire textbook. Good, good, keep learning. They're holding their breath. Okay. What are you doing over here, my cleric? Looks like they're looking for a demon psychology book. Fair enough. And I totally forgot what I was saying because I got distracted. I was just talking more about the general gist of the game, wasn't I? So it's probably time that I show how it plays. So I haven't been on this save file for a little while. I'm just going to make sure I'm all healed up. And then I will just jump into... It's going to be the final fight of episode 2. And the game is done episodically. It's also very tongue-in-cheek. It usually parodies animes, cultural things, etc. So we're going to jump in. So I'm just doing that as a spoiler warning. If you don't want to see the conclusion to episode 2, then stop watching at this point now. And I will also show the start of episode 3, and then I will finish there. So, we are ready to do the Silver Witch, yeah, not Slither. And we will get a cutscene. I'm not going to talk over the voice acting, since I always enjoy the voice acting in Disgaea games.
Huh? A dead end?
I will quickly say that the general gist of this episode is that we've been chasing this girl who appeared in Laharl's castle.
This is it. You won't get away this time.
You're wrong. I'll just summon something stronger.
Fool!
Ah!
Don't you want to be the Overlord? Why don't you fight your own battles? If you truly dream of becoming the Overlord, why don't you fight the strongest demon in the Netherworld? Me! If you somehow defeat me, you can run around and call yourself the Overlord or whatever you want.
Are you sure, Prince? You shouldn't say that so lightly. If she does win, we'll have an angel for an overlord. That's just wrong.
If she wins. But that's impossible.
Why do you need to fight? She's just a little girl. Don't treat me like a child. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, big brother overlord. That's what it's gonna take. I just need to do that. Give it my best.
She seems stronger than I expected.
Are you okay, Laharl?
I think so.
Okay, and with that we are into the battle. So when you start, once it loads, there we are. We can look around the battle. This is my home base. You can deploy a maximum of 10 people, so even if you have more than that... Oh, and also I should point out, if someone dies, you still lose that space. You can't just keep funneling people out, because you can create almost, well, ridiculously large amounts of people for your base. So this fight involves 3 dragons, and I can look at their stats. They don't take damage from wind-based attacks. I can see what they're equipped with. I can see their stats. I can press on them for more information if I wanted to see like what attacks they have, their descriptions. Usually items in the games have very funny descriptions, so it's always worth reading. And there's a new relationship system where if people are friendly they might jump in and take hits for you instead, like a cover system I guess. Cover in the sense of, you know, shielding someone, not cover as in tactical cover. And then there's a bigger looking dragon back here, and of course Cicely, who is the boss of this stage. She is friendly with most of the dragons apart from the one she's about to mount, and we'll get into that. And there's all her abilities. An angel girl from Celestia, an all-round hard worker. She seems to have a fixation on printies for some reason. So we are going to start fighting here, and I'm going to summon Laharl. So this is early in the game, so I don't have many abilities. You get weapon-based abilities, and then you also get class/character-based abilities. So for example, Laharl has Blazing Knuckles so far. Eventually he gets the ability to ride a meteor and, you know, just general stuff like that. You can stack up moves, or you can just execute them one at a time, and when I press end turn, that you can't do anything else until you get a new turn. I have to make sure I don't accidentally get her hit by anything Laharl is doing. So we'll move Enna here. I think he's going to... she's out of range. Well, that's a good chance to bring out a healer who isn't going to need to do anything on my first turn, and use her to throw Enna to give her a bit of a better position. Other people who've played the previous Disgaea games, you will know that previously you could only kind of throw in straight lines. However, if you did it right, you could do a diagonal throw. NIS obviously knew that you could do this, and it was on purpose, so now they've just made it you can select a point at which they can throw, so you don't need to force the game to throw you diagonally, you can just select it. Since I've stacked up 2 attacks... Oh, by the way, the advantage to stacking up attacks is if it's on the same enemy, you get bonus damage as a combo goes on. So I will try and stack up something else. Who else do I have in this? I'm used to having my more up-to-date party, so I'm not 100% sure on the capabilities of everybody, who I've stacked gear-wise and who I haven't. I will get my thief out here to do this, I guess, and then we'll execute these and see if these dragons die or not. So Laharl will do this, and then the other 2 will attack the other dragon. He didn't do enough to kill it.
As I said.
This might be enough to kill that dragon. I think they had about 250 health in total. Oh, not quite. Oh yeah, there's a counter system as well. Some classes are better at countering than others. And that was a relationship attack. Because Etna and the thief like each other, she got a bonus attack against it. And she has a perk where if she kills someone, they turn into a treasure chest. So Laharl didn't manage to kill that, eh? Backstabber, he's got 90 HP left. Who will I unleash on him? I have my dragon, but he does wind damage, so there's no point using him, it'll do nothing. I really like the pumpkin enemies. I've missed these enemy types since Disgaea 1. This is the first time they've been back in it. I think they're very similar to the Spy in TF2, except, and, you know, a little bit like Pumpkin Jack, which is why I've called mine Pumpkin Jack. His damage is based on int. Will I do that? Well, actually, this is a good chance to show off a new type of thing in Disgaea D2. I don't know if Magi-Change is back, which was in 3 and 4, where monsters could turn into weapons to be wielded by humanoid characters. But in this one, so far anyway, you can instead just ride monsters. And the reason for doing that is that you unlock mounted attacks. So if you're riding the pumpkin enemy, you get access to Jumping Jack, and I'm going to do that on him. You can't use any of the monster's other techniques, and the person riding may also be limited in what they can do. The damage of these combined attacks are based on their relationship, which I don't like too much, because that means you have to always kind of make sure they like each other by talking to each other in the base, using items on one another, etc. It's all kind of a bit tedious. I preferred the Magi-Change system so far. So we've got one more base dragon to deal with. This is pretty easy so far. If I get my warrior out, no, he's not going to be enough. I'm going to use him to throw my monk in there because he's got more health, so he can take a hit.
Leave it to me.
Get in there. I always name my monk Tsuki, which is Japanese for moon, in case you're curious. And he's going to kick the crap out of the dragon. He did about half the damage. He might counter that. Yeah, because he's a counter master. And they've added this new thing where monks have a chance to like do a 100 fist type attack when they counter or attack instead of just a normal hit. I've probably already done enough that I'm going to win this with relative ease. So I'll put Desco out there just to have some use out of my DLC. I'm not using Fuka because I can't stand her, but I like Desco. So for her turn, Priscilla? I can't remember her name now. Cicely, my mistake, I was halfway in between. She decided to ride the dragon to give her access to a better attack. So how am I going to deal with this? I could make Laharl ride Desco and start moving up there. Let's have some kind of like freaky demon duel. I'll just defend. And I can break open the chest. Give me some hell, which is the currency of the game. Flan can come over here and heal my monk. Well, it's not a monk. Martial artist, whatever.
I shall continue.
You can get out of the way because I don't want them to get hit. You can just defend. The warrior can move up, and we'll let her come at me and see what she does, just in case she does the combined attack with the dragon. So we can, yep, she did indeed. Sky High Dragoon. This might hurt. I can't remember how painful this was at the time for my save file. I don't think I was over leveled by much. Yeah, she did quite a lot of damage to them. Didn't kill them though, so that's fine. And I will heal them. To unlock new like patterns for your spells, you have to just keep on using the spell to become proficient at it. So for example, also my Black Mage here has like Fire and Mega Fire. It's not actually called a Black Mage, but that's an easier term that more people are familiar with than, you know, like Star Kid or whatever they're called in this. How am I going to deal with this? I could move her first of all by using the monk. That's going to move her one step towards me and do a bit of damage. And because it knocks her away from me, there's no chance of a counter. Oh yeah, that's right, I was going to have a duel with monsters, wasn't I? Okay, well let's get Etna to drop Prinnies on her. And then dismount. Is that going to use up his turn? Oh, it did. Damn, I was going to use his other technique. Oh, but we'll see if she survives. And she can do that move, and we'll see if that kills her or not. Not to confuse people further who aren't familiar with the games, but Prinnies are peg-legged penguins that have human souls inside them that sinned during their life, and they have to work off their sin by being slaves in the netherworld. They also explode if they're thrown, because reasons. So that was indeed enough, but then, oh, I forgot you actually have to then to beat her, because you're fighting the mount prior to that. So that's fine, we'll get another turn out of this. My warrior can beat her up a little bit with Hurricane Slash, and I can shoot her a little bit with my thief. I used Dark Matter before, didn't I? I used Tri-Burst this time. Probably should have just selected End Turn there. Whoa, he did not do a lot of damage to her at all. But my Thief did more and she's lower level. Oh, and that triggered Etna to do an attack. That's fine. So she's at half health. I'll let her get one turn in. She'll probably kill... Oh no, I didn't expect her to do that. That is going to do stats effects on my Warrior and Etna, as well as a bit of damage. It put one of them to sleep, and he's also paralysed. Stats effects are a lot more prevalent in this one than previous games. Usually they didn't really matter, but now more enemies inflict them. So I want to use my Jackknife Jr. because I like this attack a lot. He drops his lollipop to trick the person into looking into it and then like teleports behind them to assassinate them. Didn't do a lot of damage, but I like his animations. I like these like an assassin. What other techniques could I use? I could use Love Knuckle, which is a disturbing name for an attack if I do say so myself. What else could I do? I could just show off a bit of magic as well. Let's do Mega Fire, and that will be enough to kill her, and then there will be a kind of end of chapter bit of story. And then there's a preview of the next episode, which is always absolutely nothing to do with what's really going on. Usually it's where they do the biggest parodies of like current animes and whatnot, although this one I think is semi-relevant. So we'll see. And then we'll see the start to episode 3, and then that's where I will end my Let's Look At of Disgaea D2 A Brighter Darkness. And I will say once again, I absolutely love these games. I'm thoroughly enjoying this one as much as 4 and 3. I highly recommend it. If you didn't play any prior to this, you can still jump in. There's remakes of 3 and... well, 3 on the Vita, 1 and 2 on the PSP.
That's enough.
What? Why? Don't push yourself. You know that you don't have that much strength left. Well,
Huh. And you thought you could become the Overlord? Don't make me laugh. Go back to Celestia before I change my mind.
I guess I'm not ready to be the Overlord. This is really frustrating. And since I can't beat you, there's nothing I can do about that, right, big brother?
Stop calling me that. It bugs the hell out of me.
What? But as your little sister, what should I call you?
What?
Hey, don't joke around like that.
Well, I'm not joking. I'm Overlord Krichevskoy's daughter. Which would make me Big Brother Laharo's little sister, right?
Why should I believe that?
Laharo has a little sister! Wait, so you wanted to become the Overlord because... If Big Brother inherited the title of Overlord, I figured I had the right to do so too. I see. But I lost, so I'll go back to Celestia. Sicily, no! Huh? Since you were able to find your brother, you should live with him! With Big Brother?
What are you saying? How could I have an angel for a sister? This can't be true.
He has a point.
Please, Laharo! I can't say for sure that everything she's saying is true. But what if it is? It would be too cruel to send her back. You just need to spend some time together. I'm sure all your doubts will clear right up.
There she goes again. What do you want to do, Prince?
Damn it, going around causing trouble.
Sorry, but I just couldn't.
Fine, do whatever you want.
Thank you, Lahara. Did you hear that, Sicily? You don't have to go back! Really? Are you sure? Yes! So let's be friends, okay? Yay!
That angel is King Krichevskoy's daughter? No way. The only kid he had with the Queen is Prince Laharl. And the Queen sacrificed her life to save him, so she's not around anymore. I wonder what that angel is really up to. A shocking revelation! The pretty demon gal Etna is actually Prince Laharl's little sister!
You're older than me!
Little sisters start popping up everywhere! It's non-stop perversion of opportunity! Oh, don't look! Big brother, you're a pervert!
Being perverted is wrong.
An evil army of little sisters, including Cicely, break out into an all-out battle royale for Prince Laharl!
An army of little sisters?
That's intense! We must battle to see who his real little sister is! Next time on Lil Sis Ties and Etna Muso, Episode 3, Etna and the evil Lil Sis army. I will avenge your death, Prince!
Wait! When did I die?
Episode 1-ish?
So there we go, and in fact, since it stops there to try and give me a chance to save it, I will just end there rather than kind of give away the start to episode 3. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen of Disgaea D2. I encourage you to pick it up. My name is Flik. Stay tuned for more content of the game. Maybe. Depends on how the rest of the DLC is handled, basically. I'll probably still do post-game once I get there. Thanks for watching. Ta-ta for now.